All right. Let me know if the music is. Whoops. Let me know if the music's loud enough when it's playing, and if you can hear me and all that stuff. So here's my Hellboy. I kind of started it because, again, I'm trying to keep these streams to about an hour to make things easier for people. Blah, 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 blah. Things. Yeah, it's Hellboy. So what I did is I masked off a little bit of his face and some of his coat here. I can still see the drawing through the rubber stamp. And I'm going to do drawing on top of the rubber stamp and stuff, and maybe a little bit of white paint effects later to get this all the way I want it. So say hi if you're so inclined. If you want to be shy, I guess that's okay too. See here, I'm going to start with my one. Doing something a little different. Something I haven't seen very much is Hellboy lit from underneath and getting to see some of his eyes so they're not completely buried in shadow. So that'll be fun. Yeah, so this is me using some of my new 40%. Since last session, I managed to get my 4x6 40% rubber stamp. God, I love these things. And I got a couple more on deck to order. I don't want to spend too much on them because what if I get bored of them, right? Not that's going to happen. But yeah, I got myself another
40%. So I got some of my gradation or my 20% to dark stamp in here. And I got some of the 40% stamp in here, and I masked off some of it. So I get some different effects immediately kicking off like right away. So also doing something a little weird. Hellboy's got that massive underbite. So what I did is, if the light is coming from this angle, that underbite with that bottom lip sticking out so much is going to cast a shadow. So hopefully it doesn't look like a weird black tooth smile. Hopefully I don't screw this up. If I screw it up, I'm drawing Hellboy again this week, but not for stream, but to make it up to the person who commissioned this. Next week is Lilith from Diablo 4. Well, Diablo, but in particular, they want the Diablo 4 design. So I'll be that'll be one of full figure Lilith next week. I had a few nibbles, people asking, suggesting like what they want me to do the week after. But as far as I know, no one's commissioned it yet. So that could be still available or maybe taken. My art rep just hasn't let me know yet because, of course, oh, there's Frisket left here. You can see I left a Frisket here on that eye because I know I'm going to be doing a lot of line work there. But this is going to be all pen work around this eye, so I can just take that off. Actually, right now, he looks a bit like Stephen King with a mustache to me. I don't know if anyone else sees that. Maybe I'm just tired. I've been on the road the last 2 days. Picked up a friend from the U.S. who's staying in Toronto for like a week. So I drove out to Michigan yesterday, and I drove back today. So I'm a little bagged. I gotta tell you. I quickly scarfed down some Chinese food after getting home, and now I'm drawing for whoever's watching or whoever will watch this eventually. A big part of this is thinking about the head in terms of planes or flat surfaces. So I can. It's really hard with a character that's usually so graphically designed. I mean, he's more of a design aspect than a three-dimensional character for the most part. The way, especially the way Mike draws him the last decade or so. And I think it's so freaking cool the way he breaks them down into those subtleties. But since I don't work that way, I have to think of them as a 3D construction, which is can be a little difficult. So I gotta literally think, okay, is light hitting this? Is it not hitting this? Is it hitting it at an angle? Is it fading away? I have to go through a whole process whenever I draw Hellboy in a way that's not like straight on or a profile or something like that. Got to make sure I don't screw it up. So with the light coming from this angle, so this part of the brow is going to be the transition into shadow. If the light's hitting this, so this part here will be hit with illumination. Like the light will hit that pretty intensely. So I have to be careful that it doesn't become like a lid or something, if that makes sense. Like it's hitting it, and then I have some of the light hitting this part of the temple, this part of the horn, and this is going into shadow. I want part of there. I shouldn't be outlining it like that, but I mean, Sienkiewicz gets away with it, so maybe I can too this time. But so there'll be some light hitting there too. Think just in terms of rendering, I'm going to want some reflected light hitting here in this part of the underside of the cheekbone, this part of the upper lip, and this part of the jaw to make it come forward from the beard that's going to be in the background here. This bit of his, oh God, what are they called? Like mutton chops? Hellboy's mutton chops. And also because I'm doing like his collar here, there's going to be a highlight. not on the mutton chops, but it'll highlight the top of his throat, and then cast in the shadow from the shadow thrown by the top of the collar here. So if that makes sense. And then it's going to go all fade into black here. And I might do some white paint and everything. If things don't go well, there will be a lot of white paint. If things go all right, there'll be a little bit of white paint for special effects I want to do. See, I put on the YouTube public domain music and it played one song. I thought it would immediately go into the next. Give me a second. Oh. It appears that I have to have the audio library open as an open screen for it to play. At least that's what that seems to have happened right now. And I'm going to be building up the tones a lot of cross hatching. Hopefully get everything to merge with all the rubber stamps I used here. One of the things I like to do is when I'm initially starting the cross hatching, I'll do my hatching, not the cross, but the initial hatching, essentially arcing away from the light source, which allows me to essentially find a feel for the direction of the planes and the light at the same time. I'd actually asked a friend. I'm a big fan of this artist named Mizadeth, Mizadeth, and she does amazing, like really gothic, like Lovecraftian type music. And her work is not available to be licensed by Canadians via YouTube. Although apparently her stuff is available for Reels on Instagram, so I'm going to use some of her work there soon. Just going to outline this eye because I'm going to go back in and draw it more later. It looks like a white eyebrow there, doesn't it? I'm going to render into that a bit to reduce it. It's not too bad so far. Knock on wood. Have to be really careful with this bottom shadow because I really don't want it to read like a mustache. That would be terrible. You got that weird little goatee Hellboy has. I also want make sure I don't lose this. This is going to go. It's open here because of the masking. This little white area here around the back of the coat. But I'm going to have to go in and render that back. Oh, I also got his ear poking out. I gotta say, I'm really amazed, continually amazed at people who self-describe as being Hellboy fans, but they don't know he's got pointy ears. Or what's worse, they don't know he has cloven feet. I blame the movie for that because they don't really show the feet that much. But if you look at Hellboy, especially his earlier drawings where he was much more precise in the anatomy and the design in rendering it in the comics, Hellboy has those pointy ears. Hellboy has those cloven feet. I've also seen people draw him with the wrong number of fingers on a stone hand, which I guess is a little more understandable. It's a weird situation. It's like some people draw the Thing with the wrong number fingers on his hand, which is I guess acceptable. I mean, it's not like there's a crime against it, but oh, this sign's really low, isn't it? Might have to do some white paint there. That's what white paint's there for, fixing your mistakes. I'm not quite sure why I'm making him this craggy right now, but it just feels right. Like all the deep indentations. This might be an older Hellboy as opposed to a younger Hellboy, or beat up. Still has his eye though. Actually, you know what? That's the eye that gets ripped out. That my mistake could be me telling me subconsciously to black out that eye. I'll have to think about it. There are going to be some areas of more or less solid black. Let me indicate a couple of those right now. So the top of the horn, a nice solid black there. Figure since it's not interacting with any of the light cast here, or anything that's potentially reflecting back from there, I should go black with the horns there, maybe a little black there and a little bit in between, so there won't be any that. Let's go black in there. Let's go right, really black around at least this eye here. Not necessarily solid black, but using heavy lines to fill the area fast. And I masked this off initially for the stamp to get a sense of like highlight hitting there. You can use these Posca if you don't get the ink flowing like really aggressively. It has like a dry brush effect, so you can get like almost like a half-tone stroke from it. I'm bouncing around all over the place a bit. I blame. I drove 6.5 hours yesterday, and I think 5.5 hours today. You know, it's just supposed to be a lot shorter drive than it was. So I think I'm a little punchy. So, oh, here we go. Hey, JC. Great to see you. Thanks for being one of the regulars so far. Hopefully, the more consistent I get with these, the more people show up. Or it just may be a case where people don't want to spend Sunday night watching some dude draw. Yeah, I want to get dark in there. Do you want some reflected light in there? Chest. Okay, I'm gonna leave that like that, and then attack it with a 0.3 if I can dig one up. There we go. So I can go a little heavier with the line work with the 0.3. Some of that light going across the underside of his jaw. Just heavy up that lip a bit. So I'm going to finish up the head, make sure I get those values right, and then go back down through here. If I can get that part of the head right, then everything else will follow the line, I think. It's on camera, good. Tempted to see if anyone else wants to, any of my artist friends wants to stream with me. Purely on the basis that two people streaming is automatically a lot more interesting and attractive than one person streaming. Plus, it also keep the chatter alive. So, I mean, if we're both talking and drawing, especially if we're both drawing the same thing, I mean, that might be much more interesting for people to watch, much more interesting for people to like listen along to when they're killing their Sunday night here in the most fun way possible, of course. Pull that right over there. I think that shadow would go there then. Pretty sure. Oh my God, this is gonna be terrible. I'm pretty sure, judging from memory, it is Hellboy's left eye that gets removed. Look at how low that eye is. I bet I can. That's already popping a lot better. I still might go and black it out just because I now want to do the whole, Hellboy goes to hell aspect. I got such a beat up Hellboy here. Oh, this is terrible. That's a terrible bit of music. Let's skip the. Okay, I think I can jump back to a 3 for this to block out the basic values. Okay, well, this in terms of time, this one's going a lot better than the past ones. I think I would have been already well over an hour at this point. So use some dry brush here, I think. Where is my refillable brush? I could use a regular brush for the dry brush here. In fact, I might if I can. Oh, there it is. So this is a Pentel color brush, and I refilled it with carbon fountain pen ink instead of the standard stuff, which I don't like. It takes forever to dry. But this is a great like crude brush for doing all sorts of like dry brushy effects, filling in blacks loosely. I can scribble it loose to get values down that no, I'll probably shine it around there. Now I get to scrimble on top of this dry brush, give it some direction, and also the dry brush gives more of an organic feel to like this technically flat dead line rendering I'm doing here with this ballpoint. Even a marker would have more flex in the line than this ballpoint, but because I get to mix the media so much, I mean, I got rubber stamps, I got brush, I got ballpoint pen. I probably will have some white paint and splatter and some marker on top of that before things get too much further along. So I get to create a really dark area that is near black, but not entirely black. You can get to imply that, I mean, red is a very dark color when it comes down to it. So Hellboy's chest and shadow, I could have done his wife beater, or a tank top, I should say. That's the, I think, more politically correct term right now. And that would have made that pop a little bit more. My bad. Should have thought of that a little bit more. Probably gonna use some white paint to make this hair, his mutton chops, and his goatee feel less like big slabby marker lines. I wish I was like one of those guys who could just get away with like big slabby marker lines. Sadly, no. I'm no John Paul Leon, who's so talented. Oh my God, he's so talented. I would have loved to have like a big Hellboy project drawn by John Paul Leon. Like maybe something set in the Cold War in Berlin. That would have been like so amazing. Perhaps too specific there, but would have been a weird place to have Hellboy. But he would have drawn the hell out of it. Look in the mirror. I think this has to be pushed back a bit. I'll use the one on that to push it back a bit. Yeah, that eye is still too low. Part of me still wants to black it out. Yeah, part of me still wants to black it out. See, once I do that, then it becomes really, really tedious to fix it if I do need to fix it. I think his goatee might be a little off center. Well, the jaw sticking out so much it would make it harder to center it anyway. But I think I'm going to go darker in here. The best thing to do that, I think, would be with the Pentel brush, the color brush again. Just like so, that'd be neck, collarbone. I remember back when Hellboy used to be kind of muscular. I wonder. I'd love to talk to Mike and find out, like, part of his development of Hellboy. Hellboy became like more slope-shouldered, thinner. I wonder if that was like maybe there was a story plan in that, or was that entirely just a development of Mike's personal preferences and how to draw the character? So I'm thinking it'd be almost cool to say, the real reason why Hellboy got slighter. Not only was he getting older, but maybe he was losing that inherent like power he had for being Hellboy, because he was like doing things like fighting the things that he should have been ruling. I want to. Putting a little bit more noise in there. You know what? With all the cragginess I got in the underside of the jaw here, I think I could add a little bit more here on this side of the cheekbone. And I think I gotta imply that there's some cragginess happening there. I'm gonna use 005 here. So if I do it lightly. All right, 15 minutes if I'm going to be done in an hour. So it's not bad. Might have to launch into all of these with this much. The Lilith one, full figure, that one's going to take a while. So I might actually, start inking before the stream starts with that. You know what? I have to. I'm amazed I can't remember it. Okay, Google, which eye did Hellboy lose? See if this will answer it.
According to Wikipedia, remembering his true self and what Brennenholm brought him up to be, Hellboy breaks off his horns, reseals the Ogdru Jihad, and defeats Rasputin by
That's the
stabbing him
movie.
with one of
That's
his
not the
broken arms.
comic book. Hellboy, one eye. Thing is, I've drawn him with one eye like a bunch of times already. Yeah, it's his left eye that he loses. So he's really looking beat up. In this case, I probably should have put him in like. At one point, I think he's wearing like a hood, and it makes him almost like a devilish Odin, which is really kind of cool. How's that looking? Is that done? See, I want to obliterate that line a little bit later. Damn, if I was doing this over a couple of days, I could say, but let's have a poll. Who wants Hellboy to have one eye or not? All right, let's see see if this pen's working. It's not. How about this pen? Look at all these white gel pens. Oh, it works. All right. Yeah, that kind of works. Kind of works. That's a low bar, isn't it? Big, use a piece of paper somewhere. A little piece of tape here and there. Let me keep from moving. Also covers up some of the other white paper. So got a little bit of white splatter in the foreground, maybe a little bit of white splatter, maybe black splatter in the background. Let me do that. I think Post-it should be enough for covering up the necessities. I try and reuse these as much as possible, so I'm not like destroying trees as much. I mean, being an artist inherently means you're kind of destroying trees. So I try and keep a little pile of Post-its I've used. Not quite to the point of inability to reuse. And it saves a little bit of paper, saves a little bit of money. I mean, saving money's not a terrible thing either. Put that there. Maybe just a little bit there. No sticky on that. No sticky on that. Yeah, I get to the point where I'm actually just using the sticky piece that gets left over. Here's a little one. If I cover up most of it, then that's enough. Just to be on the safe side, I'll cover this up here too. I don't mind a little bit of splatter getting down here. Do I have a toothbrush I've been using for black? I have the white one on hand, but do I have a black one on hand? Oh, I do have one. Awesome. Get a little bit of. I use whatever ink comes to hand. Usually we'll use the Black Star matte, but I think my art rep gave me these because they bought some art supplies for their Toronto show and then didn't want to bring them back to the US, so they just said, "Here, have some ink." I'm like, "Well, thank you very much." So let me do a little bit of a black splatter, and I'll let that dry, and then I'll do a little bit of white splatter. I think this one will be done. Whoops, cheap gloves. Big hands, cheap gloves. My fingers, my God. That show up on the camera? That's creepy, eh? Just enough for me. I should probably get, what are they called? Finger condoms? I should probably just get finger condoms for what I actually do with them. I just need to protect the fingers from getting too covered in ink. Put this out of the way. All right, let's load this up with a little bit of ink. There we go. Nice little heavier splatter there. That's showing up in the camera. me just angle that up a bit. Some noisy black ink splattering here. As the ink runs low, I can do faster splatters and make it finer. And then those areas where the rubber stamps didn't quite meet up get filled in a little bit better. Just a little bit more ink, I think. Ooh, look at that. That's not good. I have to do something about that. Now I gotta let this dry. Now, what I normally do, and I put it somewhere so I can't even see it. There it is. I wonder if I should just use my hair dryer, or if I should figure out some way to mute this. Oh, hang on. Unmuted. There we go. You should be able to hear me now. And let me get some white paint going. And have to think a few moments before I decide where I'm going to mask for the white paint. Definitely want it in the foreground more than the background. But I don't want to obliterate Hellboy's face. So I think I'll start with by just removing some of this stuff, and then I'll do like a light one at the end, and then do corrections as needed. Speaking of corrections as needed, so there's this big. Is this one? No, this is not one of the ones I was working. There we go. Just gonna break this up a bit. Have it disappear a bit. When the white paint goes on top of it, you won't even see that I did white paint stuff there. So I'm going to take that off. Yeah, I don't mind some white paint going across the bottom of the jaw, but I don't want white paint messing up the face and the eyes yet. All right, let's load up this toothbrush. I don't think I'm going to put on another glove for this. I'm not going to be doing that much. Plus, this is so much easier to wash off than black ink. Just white gouache. Bigger splotches. Now let's get this last of the stuff off of his face, so it's not completely isolated from the splatter. His eyes do glow, so maybe just a little. Mm-hmm. Something just a little more guts to it than the splatter. Well, heavier than that still. My eye's definitely in hell there with all the splatter. I should have blocked out the eye. All right, well, it's done. Yes, sign it. And then it's good to scan. Then remove the tape so everyone can see without the tape. I'll be posting this on all my socials tomorrow, of course. If you're a Patreon backer, you'll see it tonight probably. Yeah, if I go back in and black out that eye, I'd have to do a little bit more white splatter on top of it. Well, it's amazing how the matte black really does not shine. It looks blacker than black on the on my, at least on my monitor, watching this video. Where do I want to sign this? So I want to take that's the 3. Do a little bit of this just to take the edgement off the edge. I could sign it with white, but I think I'm going to sign it with black, like right here. All right, there's another Hellboy. Thanks for everyone who popped in tonight. And we just went over an hour, so that's the ideal amount. So next week, it's a full figure Lilith, still on 9x12. And I'm looking forward to seeing y'all then. Take care.